Hi guys, so today we're at St Nahi's Church of Ireland church and graveyard, and you'll have to excuse the talk over as my microphone failed on this occasion. Now the first grave we visit today is George Johnstone Stoney, and he passed away on the 5th of July 1911, and he was an Irish physicist. He is most famous for introducing the term electron as the fundamental unit quantity of electricity. He had introduced the concept, though not the word, as early as 1874, initially naming it electrine, and the word itself came in around 1891. He published around 75 scientific papers during his lifetime. Now, George was born in Oakley Park near Byrne in County Offaly, and he's the son of George Stoney and Anne Blood. The Stoney family is an old established Anglo-Irish family. He attended Trinity College, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1848. From 1848 to 1852, he worked as an astronomy assistant to William Parsons, 3rd Earl of Rosse at Burke Castle, where Parsons had actually built the world's largest telescope. From 1852 to 1857, Stoney was a professor of physics at Queen's College, Galway, and he was employed as secretary for the Queen's University of Ireland, an administrative job based in Dublin. So we will continue on, and you can see that the grounds here are beautifully maintained. Just here we have an interesting cross. As you can see, it's for the Kavanaghs, and you can see the iron actually is still there, and the cement then would have been built up around that to form the structure. Just quite interesting, but unfortunately damaged. Now here we have a beautiful headstone. Note the Virgin Mary, we have cherubs, lilies, absolutely stunning. And you can also see just at the Virgin Mary's feet is a serpent. But this memorial is sacred to the memory of John Byrne, and he was only 18 years old when he passed, and also 3 children who died in infancy. So very, very sad, but a beautiful memorial for the Byrnes. So we are just going to follow this little grassy path around the cemetery, and that brings us here. Now this is William Halliday, 1788 to 1812, and he was an Irish language enthusiast. Now he was the son of a Dublin tradesman. He trained as a solicitor. In 1808 he assisted Edward O'Reilly, Dr. John Lanigan, and Father Paul O'Brien, professor of the Irish at Maynooth College, in founding the Gaelic Society of Dublin, an effort to save the Irish language. He died aged just 24 on the 26th of October 1812. So that brings us here to this magnificent tomb. And it says, "Here lieth the body of James Kennedy, Esquire, of Dublin, who died September." The year then is gone. It's missing this whole piece here. And we'll read on. "The noblest work of God, an honest man. Here also interred are the remains of his wife, Mary Kennedy. She died 16th November. And once again, the date is gone. But you can see that there is some damage to the stone, just cracks. Ivy now is growing up through it, and just here there is a huge hole, so it's showing some subsidence of the ground there as well. But if you come around to the other side, then we have more writing, and the writing here says, "Here lieth the mortal remains of his daughter Mary. She was the wife of Patrick," and then because of the lichen that you can see here, the rest of the writing is just way too hard to read, unfortunately. but it is a beautiful tomb and probably one of the nicest ones that I have seen in quite a while. So we'll continue on again. Now there's 2 headstones here that are absolutely gorgeous, beautiful detail, and this is Byrne, James, Lucy and Patrick Byrne. So James passed away in 1907, Lucy in 1911, and Patrick November 1905. I'm not sure whether that was aged 4 or we're missing some numbers there, but you can see a star and some beautiful flowers. Now this one shows wreaths. I will give thee a crown of life. We have a crown, and just here then it says William, the 2nd of July 1907, aged 70, and Mary 1884. That is absolutely gorgeous, and both are Byrnes, so both must be related, I am presuming. So we'll keep going, and we're not too far actually away from Dundrum. Note some sort of damage done there. It looks like a whole monument has actually fallen down. Now just here we have 2 beautiful white headstones. The first one, in memory of Charles Cosgrave, who departed this life May the 28th, 1901. His daughter Kate, 1902, aged 25. Also his 4 children who died young. His sons Joseph, 23 when he passed, and Peter. And then Ellen, the wife of Charles, is here as well. So very, very sad. And then beside that there, we have another beautiful white marble headstone, and you can see there the Lamb of God. And this one is erected by James Burke to the memory of his beloved wife Catherine, and she departed this life on 1870. Also the above James is there himself, and Patrick Cosgrave there down at the bottom, but 2 fantastic headstones there, that beautiful white marble. But so let's keep going. Just turning around here just to give you a look at the church itself, Church of Ireland, as I said, and let's just keep going. So that brings us up to here, and I believe that this was a vault at some stage, and this magnificent tomb on top, and it reads, the family vault of Michael O'Brien, Esquire, of the city of Dublin, who died the 2nd of February 1783, aged 68. And then it says, leaving issue, 1 daughter and 2 sons, Richard and Michael. And if we make our way around, there are 3 more panels. Christina, wife of Nicholas Mulligan and only daughter of Michael O'Brien, died the 25th of April 1800, aged 42. Her husband died the 28th of December 1808, aged 62. We have Richard O'Brien, eldest son of Michael O'Brien, died in 1807, unmarried, aged 48. And here lieth the remains of Catherine Lyons, daughter of James Lyons, Esquire, formerly of Newcastle in the county of Dublin, and marital aunt of Mary O'Brien. She died April 1852, aged 96, and we can see there that it would have went underground. There's a Kate Mary O'Brien here, daughter of Michael and Mary O'Brien as well. And then that leads us to another beautiful, what I would think is a vault as well, underground. Look at those beautiful rails, really highly decorative. We have 3 kind of like shields on the side of this one. Some damage to it, of course, on the side and on the top of it as well. So this memorial has Murphy's and Waldron's, which is quite an unusual surname. Certainly I haven't come across Waldron before. We have a crest there, and this would have been the entrance underground, I presume. But just look at that beautiful crest, the family vault of Patrick Waldron. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see the bulls' heads there, and I'm not sure that's a dragon or a dog on the top, just not sure. But once again, those wrought iron gates, all rusted, but still very, very beautiful. But as you can see, that the whole area is built kind of on these slopes and mounds, so it makes it a little bit difficult to kind of meander your way around the graveyard itself. But we'll make our way on up. You have these little dandelions and daisies here growing. And another beautiful iron cross, really highly decorated, flower there in the centre. Someone has painted the leaves green, but unfortunately no name here to be read at all. That there then is the back of that magnificent vault. All those names all the way around it. We have just named but a few on that today. So these are yew trees, and you see them a lot in graveyards and cemeteries here in Ireland. Another beautiful tomb there. Damage done to the top of it. Very, very hard to read once again. And looking closer, it does look like there was possibly rails going around. You can see the cement there and an iron bar going through it. Now these two tiny little graves are surrounded with this iron. Now this one is definitely newer iron surrounding, but this is quite sad. Here lies the body of John Doyle, who lost his life in 1881 in the Grand Canal. Now John was only 13 years old when he died, and I presume it was drowning. So very, very sad there for him. And this little one is just a simple little cross. Iron is a little bit older, but still I don't think it was original. But very, very sad for little John Doyle there. As I said, drowned in the Grand Canal in Dublin, and just 13 years of age. So we are now making our way back down. It's a large enough cemetery, I suppose, but I'm going to bring you to this one, because this one too, I believe, is an underground crypt. Once again, unfortunately, the writing is all but gone, so won't be able to read it. It's completely cemented over the top, but once again, those beautiful wrought iron railings and just completely rusted. But as I said, I kind of like that look. We have a gate here. It's completely locked up, and then the original entrance would have went down those steps, but that is also cemented up, so completely cemented over. But as I said, we just can't read it, which is unfortunate. So we'll keep going. We're going to go up along here. There's another tomb here just beside this conifer. It's a huge conifer tree, and they really do take over if they're let go. And as we've seen before, the tombs, the tops of the tombs, any writing is all but gone, and we see that a lot, and that's just due to it being so open to the weather, I suppose, facing up to the sky. But you can see that they have this little path. It's like they've gone through it with a lawnmower or something to make it more accessible. That there is the Lewis Bridge, an amazing structure, and it just looks over the whole of Nahi's little graveyard here. It's quite a busy area. Dundrum then is just over there. We've a huge shopping centre just there as well. Now this one is beautiful as well. We have two angels, one on either side, and look at the way the weather has worn them away, but very, very beautiful all the same. And as I said, one on either side. And this is this lead lettering, and this is Patrick. Byrne. July 1890, he was aged 60. We also have Annie Byrne, 1925, and Annie would be his wife. We have his children then as well. Catherine Byrne, 1938, James Byrne, 1866 to 1890, and John Byrne, 1884 to 1918. And as I said, those lead letters, this one actually has surprisingly kept most of its letters, but still sometimes these are so hard to read and they just don't stay intact over the years. Now this headstone caught my eye, and it was really, I suppose, the first name that stood out for me. This is Devonshire Jackson Rowan, born 1882 and passed away the 17th of March, so St. Patrick's Day, 1889. So he was just 7, so very, very sad there. But also here, then with Devonshire, is Eliza Villers Rowan. And she was born 1868, and she passed away the 10th of April, 1889, and she was only 21. So I presume that this was a brother and sister. So very, very sad. But what a beautiful name, Devonshire. And Eliza, of course, Rowan. So there again, that beautiful bridge. It's absolutely amazing. And as I said, the Lewis line runs along that. And the Lewis is sort of like, I suppose, a tram, maybe. But we're going to make our way down. There's another headstone down here that you will definitely recognise the surname. And the surname is Yeats. So up at the top we have Elizabeth Corbett Yeats. And Elizabeth passed away on the 16th of January 1940, age 71. She is the daughter of John Butler Yeats, and her sister Susan Mary Yeats is here as well. Susan passed the 5th of January 1949, and they are both sisters of William Butler Yeats, or W.B. Yeats as he is fondly known as. And William was a poet, a playwright, a Nobel Prize winner. He is generally considered to be one of the 20th century's key English language poets. Now, Susan herself was an artist and a publisher. And then, of course, their father was John Butler Yeats, and he was an artist. Now, he was actually educated as a lawyer, but pursued a career in art. And although he was a successful artist, he never attained financial stability and often moved between Ireland and England. He eventually then moved to New York City at the age of 69, and he continued his career in America. Several of his artworks are actually still on display in the Yeats Museum at the National Gallery of Ireland, and the most famous of which is probably his portrait of his young son, William Butler Yeats. So a lot of history here. His two daughters, W.B. Yeats' sisters, and I just thought it was just important to bring you here to their grave. So now we are going to follow this little grassy path again, and we're going to go up to the left, and right down at the end of this path is another grave of a young man that I really want to pay my respect to as well. So just here is the final resting place of James Burke. Now, James is buried with his brother Thomas Burke, and Thomas passed away in 1898. But James himself was one of the 14 civilians, including the captain of the Tipperary football team, Michael Hogan, who were shot dead by British troops at the Croke Park Gaelic Sports Stadium on the 21st November 1920, while attending a match between Tipperary and Dublin. James and the other victims were killed in reprisal for the killing earlier that day of 12 British agents by IRA members, acting on the orders of Michael Collins, the IRA's intelligence chief. The day became known as Bloody Sunday. The gravestone incorrectly records the date of James's death as a year after it occurred in 1920. But looking at it today, that mistake has been corrected with the proper date, the 21st November 1920, and James was actually only 44 years of age. Now, even though it says that James was shot, there is conflicting evidence to say that he was actually crushed as they tried to exit and flee from the stadium. James Burke lived in Windy Arbour and worked in Terenure Laundry. He was married to Annie and they had 5 children. He was caught in the crush as spectators fled towards the Croke Park exits. James' death was recorded as being due to shock and heart failure. His body was formally identified by his wife Annie at Jervis Street Hospital, and James is buried here. Once again, apologies for the mic failure and that I've had to do my best talking over this little video. Rest in peace to all that are buried here in St. Nahi's graveyard. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, leave a comment so I know that you're there. But for now, take care, God bless, and I'll talk to you all soon.